Good evening. This is Scarlett coming here live through Scarlet Witch, the Scarlet Curandera, the Scarlet Escarleta, como ustedes le quieran llamar, however you guys want to call it. Es igual, it's the same thing. You guys know who I am. Now, that being said, this is the part two that I'm going to link it to religion versus spirituality because in the first part, I'm talking about religion versus spirituality and I'm talking about the differences. I only, of course, and will always go no longer than 30 minutes with anything. Probably bore you to death. Even though you're interested in the subject could be good. Trust me, it's been proven the human mind cannot go longer than 30 minutes. Probably less, unless you're very, very interested in it. But that being said, we're going to go through, there's 6 levels of divine consciousness. Or at least I'm going to start doing saying these. And as I go, there might be more. But we're going to start with this. Now, your life is a journey from unconsciousness to higher unconsciousness. What does that mean, Scarlett? What does that entail? Well, let me give it to you like this. Life happens in you and life happens for you. That also means what happens to you is how you react to it. And if you let that take you over, or if life happens and if you take over what's happening to you. Okay? So just two different descriptions just to kind of uh, open up the misunderstanding there. Life happens to you, life happens by you, life happens in you, life happens for you, life happens through you, and life is you. Now, as we explore each level, you need to start checking within yourself. You're given important information, and it is up to you to do whatever you feel that you must. If you've already gone through this so much, and you've already uncovered this so much, what else do you need to search for? Alright, here we go. Now, the first level of higher consciousness is life happens to you. Life happens to you. For a good deal of your life, you probably lived all these things happening, feeling. It's just all these things are happening to you. Life is so big, and if you're honest with yourself, you never really know what's going to happen next. And the next morning, you wake up, you heard a slide happen the next day, and then the next day, something happens, and oh my God, it's the end of the world. You get fired, you get sick, you get debilitated, you get rejected, your lover dumps you. Take it from me, you get left in the altar. It happens. Every day that you get a little older, and death is always lurking around the corner. People always say that. That doesn't mean that you gotta hurry up and run and be spiritual. Do not get me wrong. This is just the first level. Now, it's understandable that the more unconscious you are, the more often you feel like you're a victim of life. The more often you're gonna feel that you believe that life is just happening to you. How could this happen to me and nobody else? Why is it nobody? You need to understand that, hey, wake up. It's to everyone, not just to you. And so you see it. If you don't realize that, you're going to keep seeing life as a possible threat. Because all you see is that life is happening to you. I remember when I got left at the altar, all I could think was it was happening to me. When I got cheated on, when I got a lot of things happen that I've gone through, oh my God, it's happening to me. It's not. But when you just only see it that way, that it's only happening to you, that's just the first level of higher consciousness. The second level to higher consciousness is life happens by you. Does that mean, Scarlett? Given you're like going from to and by. Okay. That means that when you're too uncomfortable to live with this much power, to, like when you know that you don't have this much power to do this, you know that you can't do it, but you know you must do it. You start evolving. You start evolving in that life is happening because of what you've done by you. You start seeing that rather than you being a victim of life, you start believing that you can control it because just like you were able to get yourself in that situation, you can get yourself out of it. So there can be a great personal power in this level of consciousness, but it's necessary to step in moving out into the victimhood. So you got to get out of that victim state. You got to get out of it and realize that what's going on, you can control it. The majority of people try to control others who are not like them. Gay, different skin, color, similar religions, all of it. These people are nowhere near, obviously, divine consciousness. Because at the end of the day, if it's right or wrong, that's not up to you or me to decide. That is up to whoever they're going to face to decide. You are no one to judge. You are there to only help. That is your friend. No matter what your friend is, you encourage them. Because they're already dealing as much as it is with what they got going on themselves. Okay? Now, this is an enormous amount of effort in the face of higher consciousness. As the storyteller goes, good to happen, it has to make it happen. So it loves to set goals. Start setting goals. Stop being ashamed. When it doesn't follow through, know that you could always have a resolution to it. That's just the second step, though. It is a new form of control, and where you believe you can control your reality in the form of control, you know that you are not a victim. You start realizing that, hey, maybe I did this stupid crap and this stupid crap and this stupid crap. Maybe I did it to myself. That's the second level of divine consciousness. When we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. What is the hell does that mean, Scarlett? Okay, I'll tell you. We are not seeing, like, let's say there's a yellow tractor. And I'm gonna break this down as layman's terms as I can. See a yellow tractor. Yellow tractor, you see yellow tractor. But what if it's not a yellow? What if it's mixed with yellow and green? And all you're seeing is yellow. But to you it's yellow. Well, in reality, once you look up like the manufacturer and what the manufacturer set up, you start realizing that hey, it's not yellow. It's mixed with green. What's up? Exactly. That will be, again, your second level of consciousness. And when you've lived this level of consciousness long enough, you see the downside of it. First, you find yourself becoming fearful of your thoughts because now you're scared of what you're going to think. Now you're scared of how you're going to see things. Now you're scared of what if I'm not seeing these things wrong and I'm just getting it all wrong and it's going to happen all over again. Trust me, I'm right there right now. Even though I've already reached all six levels. You can always go from six and drop back down to one. That's another given fact. Trust me. That being said, when you've lived this level of consciousness long enough, you see the downside of it. And first, you find yourself becoming fearful. Then you said, okay, I don't want to think that because if I think that, I'm gonna be attracting that, and then that's what I'm gonna see, and that's what I'm gonna manifest. And then you start feeling shame, guilt, everything, and you don't want to feel that. Not because you want to get away with it, but because if you start feeling shame, guilt, and all these negative emotions, well, guess what you're gonna do to your situation? You're gonna make it worse. Law of attraction is always here at play. Don't forget. Okay. So, what is the third level of higher consciousness? Well, life happens in you. You eventually start to see that all the reacting and controlling hasn't brought you that ease and joy. Instead of being the victim to your life and needing to make it be in a particular way, which is endless and a game of struggle, you begin to realize that it's an inkling that life is something to be listened to and open to. In other words, you start realizing that if you start wishing it, hoping for it, you know that that starts becoming part of your life. You start realizing that you are the one that has control of your life. When they say stay woke, that's what that means. It begins in you. You start thinking it, feeling it, seeing it, and it happens. Thoughts become actions. Those that have seen The Secret, you know where I'm quoting this from. At this level of consciousness, you realize it becomes something very startling. Most of the time, rather than experiencing life you think about, you're seeing only the thoughts in your head. That means that you gotta envision it, like I just said. Thoughts become actions. And in this space of higher consciousness, you also realize that your suffering doesn't come through experience of your life. Instead, it comes to the stories about what is happening. Because you know you're supposed to be sad, you're sad. Because you're supposed to be happy, you're happy. Keep that in mind. That's the third level of consciousness. The fourth level of higher consciousness. Life happens for you. Now, as you begin to start growing in this, second, this computer cooperates. Instead of reacting and controlling, you start becoming more okay. This is what's happening. Let me adjust to it. Rather than life being something that is happening to you, you must control. You realize that there are no ordinary moments, and you are one step further on the journey to higher consciousness. So, in other words, now you realize that no matter what happens, it could be a random series of events. You are highly intelligently unfolding, and that is putting you in the exact situations you need in order to see and unhook from the spells that keep you separate. So you start seeing that you're the master of your own life. You're the master of your own life, and whatever's happening, you can control it, you can dominate it, and you can do it. And no matter what happens, it's something that you did wrong, and it's happening now because of what you did. It's no longer to you or by you, it's because of you. That is your third level. I'm sorry, that was your fourth level. Your fifth level, life happens through you. Through you. Face of higher consciousness shows you that there is no such thing as an ordinary moment in your life that you need to see. Life is speaking to you. So now you know that life is no longer happening for you, to you, for you, by you, or anything. You know that life is trying to tell you something. You know that, okay, all these numbers, all these people, why does it keep happening to you? Now you know that life is speaking to you. You know that it's trying to tell you something. You know that it's trying to guide you somewhere. And that's where you follow it. And that leads us to the last one, where you realize that life is you. Allowing it to move through you rather than reacting to it or controlling it. The more you begin to get glimpses of the sixth level of consciousness in which that life is you, you are no longer a separate being. Instead, you merge completely back into the creative flow of life and understand that everything, every rock, person, cloud, molecule, ladybug is you. You are your life at all. No longer to, from, me, why, or nothing. You realize that you and what you do, even me doing the circle, is creating life in itself. That's the last and sixth level of higher consciousness. Something to think about, something to give praise to. The truth of trust. In order to evolve into and thorough, the last four levels of consciousness, the flatter threads of your thrust of life, needs to be rewoven. Rewoven. So you got to go back. Once you reach the sixth level, you got to go back. You got to go back to the second, third, fourth, and fifth. Because now you got to realize, okay, well, I did this, this, this. It's, I call it the domino effect. Drop this domino drops that domino drops that domino, and so forth. You have to start seeing it like that. If you don't want that domino and that other domino and that other domino and that other domino to drop, then you need to realize this. Don't push the domino. But life is pushing dominoes. So keep that in mind. Uh that was a quick video. That was a quick tutorial, or not tutorial, but lesson to be connected with spirituality versus I'm sorry, religion versus spirituality, and what was the difference. And these are the level of consciousness if you are seeking the level of consciousness. Now, let me, how are you, and do you know if you are ready, and if you are one of the people that should be more in the religious aspects or in the conscious aspects? That's a good question. Where do you belong? Where do you see yourself? You got to ask yourself this. What stuff are you going through right now in your life? Or what stuff have you gone through in your life that makes you think you want to kill yourself, makes you think that you are not even seeing past the superficiality of it. If you can see past the superficiality of it, I'm telling you right now, you're only living in religion. Religion's only going by doctrine, rules. Spirituality does not have any. And that's why I'm saying this video here is to be connected to the religion versus spirituality one. Because it starts adding on to the spirituality factor. So if you start going through things that you know for a fact, for a fact, it's not and isn't the way things should be, but you're starting to realize that you can get control of it. Let me tell you something. You just uncovered all six levels of divine consciousness. Just like that. Does that make you the devil? No. Does that make you something worse than what the Bible says, or Christian Bible, or King James Version Bible says? No. Quran says? No. Again, at the end of the day, when we die, we all aspire to the same thing. There is no right or wrong way. So I leave you guys with this. This is shorter. I think this is the shortest video I made. Love and light. Blessed be all. Namaste.